Tanya.
And my name is Sweetie, and welcome to
What They Don't Tell You podcast.
the pre-dental edition.
So, Sweetie, do you want to introduce our first guest today?
Yeah, so today is a very, very special day. We are having our first guest. I'd like to introduce someone who was very important to me. He changed my life completely. He is super influential in the dental field, and he has his own office in Midtown Manhattan, which is absolutely stunning. And we are excited to announce him, to have him here with us today.
So, if you guys don't know, you're going to get to know him. We have Dr. A.
What's going on? Don't stop there. Keep giving me my flowers. I'm just boosted up. Biggest head ever.
We have Dr. Aguebor here today. He owns a wonderful office in Midtown Manhattan, like I mentioned. And how long have you been in dentistry?
Ooh, I'm an old head. So dentistry.
Oh, please.
Smooth 8 years now. That's crazy.
Wow.
I had to really count that.
8 years that's amazing.
Yeah. But it's been a beautiful 8 years from the growth and learning so much, doing continuing education. And it's a big story I got. So, yeah, I'm happy where I'm at. It's a good place on the other side.
Okay, so if you want to give us a little bit of your background and how did this all start? Like, why dentistry?
First off, Nigeria. That's where I was born. So I got to shout out to that. You
Let's
know?
go to the Niger King here.
Now, but nonetheless, though, initially, to be honest, I wanted to go to the other side of medicine. And I want to be a cardiac surgeon. And I was gung-ho about it, like all with it. But then I realized, like, I was about to graduate from college, and I wasn't looking into the MCAT, or there was no motivation, no passion. Passion drives everything, at least for me. So at the end of the day, I sat here, I was like, okay, I really got to find my why. And I took a year off after that. I was like,
Okay, you had a gap
yeah.
Okay.
I can't continue to just keep on pushing towards something that I'm not like 100% on. If I'm 80%, it's not happening. 90%, it's still not happening. I gotta be like 99.99 for it to say, okay, well, let's do this. The funny thing is, I took a course, and it was just a course that prepares students for, like, healthcare in general. You could go into the nursing if you wanted to, PA school if you wanted to, but I was in a class it was dental and medicine.
Oh, is it like how
Something
we're
like
in
work?
our masters? Yeah.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Okay.
And it was like a
Accelerated program?
like a 7-week course or something like that.
Okay.
Beautiful. And I encourage anybody that's, kind of like lost in the sauce and trying to, figure out life and stuff like that to do something like that. Because it really triggers something in you to see, okay, well, do I like this? Do I not like this? Do I really want to chase this? And that's what happened to me. I was on the medical side. Dental people were right here, you feel me? And I'm sitting here like, yo, what, like why am I still sitting here? Because I was prepping for the MCAT doing that, but I was still trying to figure out life, kind of see, what I wanted to do. That's why I took that year. And what happened was I had a cousin that was always chiming in my ear like, hey, man, you should come to the dental side. This is the right side. Blah, blah. Till this day, he will never let that go, that he's the reason that, I'm a dentist.
Credit too.
I'll give him credit, man. Shout out to Tola. Another Dr. A.
Shout out.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you. But nonetheless, though, I would always see that. And there was Miss Perry. Are you familiar with her?
Miss Perry.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was very influential in regards to that. She was like, let me show you, the dental side. You can just look around, shadow some students and things of that nature. And that changed my perspective.
Wow.
Immediately, I left that classroom and I went to go shadow some students and just, seeing like how they're so crafty with their hands. I was like, that's me. Just seeing them work on patients, and I sat chair side and I saw a root canal treated. I saw Cosmetics, class 4, whereas, you have a chip and all of a sudden, boom, fix. Now you change a patient's life right there. And for me, it's instant gratification. Compared to like, medicine. Like you walk into the clinic and it's like, hey, yo, doc, I'm sick, cough, cough. Oh, you might have COVID. Maybe it's the flu. Let's test this medicine and see if it works out. You know what I mean? But us, it's like, okay,
What are the
dentistry.
symptoms?
Immediate
Yes,
resolution.
exactly. What's going on? You thriving, or is it keeping you up at night? Let me tap here real quick. And you figure out exactly what's going on, the trigger points, and then you answer their prayers. You fix them right then and there. They're walking in, like crying in pain, whatever it may be, but they're walking out like, yo, thank you, doc. And that makes you feel like 10,000%. That's when you know you're in a passion, and that's how I knew like dentistry was for me immediately. I was like, yo, what have I been doing this whole time?
So what type of student were you in undergrad?
Oh.
Because, like, I know I had my ups and downs, and it took me a while to kind of figure things out. Literally, it took me, like, 10 years to figure things out. And I'm curious to know what type of student you were.
All right, so undergrad. That's crazy you say undergrad.
And where did you go? Where did you go
So
to undergrad?
I went to the University of Georgia. You feel me? Go Dogs. Double dog champions and everything, man. So, I got to flex on that. But nonetheless, in undergrad, University of Georgia, it was a party school. I was part of a fraternity, living my best life.
Okay. Go
But
Shimmiers.
to my credit, though, I had it in here. So, I could party, I could rock hard with everybody else doing everything, but I would get to that test and I would ace it. And I felt good. You know what I mean? That's a little bragging. Yeah, I did it. But I felt good about myself in regards to that. So, I definitely partied, but I was also so focused because I knew exactly where I wanted to go. And I'll tell you a story because essentially when I graduated and everybody was like, wait, hold on. He got a science degree? That guy?
When?
Wait, hold on. He got into dental school? That guy? And that was so funny to me because it's like, yo, you can focus, but you don't have to tell everybody exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You keep that focus and you keep that mindset. And that's throughout everything in life. You just rock it out and then, you show it when it happens. It's like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool.
What advice would you give a student that's currently right now in their undergrad and they're like in this major party school and they're trying to figure out how to balance school and life?
I would say definitely don't take away from your college experience. Enjoy that because that builds you as a person 110%. But make sure that you are studying like no other, and make sure that you're keeping up with everybody else. You're not flunking out of school, and it's not just like, hey, yo, that's Frank, that's that party dude, and that's all you're known for. You don't want that. You want to be better than that, 100%. So keep your focus, but enjoy the atmosphere because everything that you get from college is gonna grow you as a person. That's where you learn everything. If I didn't go to college, I'd be like, yo, how do you skip from this to this? Like, how do you don't know the frat life. You don't know
social skills.
Yes,
right?
so exactly. All together, and you meet so many people that to this day, I still hit them up and be like, yo, remember freshman year? And then you get these pictures, these photos, all these memories, man. It's everything. So I appreciate all the friends and all the memories that I made while I was in undergrad. So yeah, party/focus. So I knew what's up.
That's the dream. So you said you had a gap year. What did you do during that?
Oh, that gap year, man. So I took that year off, and that summer was when I focused on essentially trying to figure out life, and took that course. And immediately after I took that course, I realized, okay, I want dentistry. It was a quick whole my whole August was okay, what do I have to do to get dentistry?
Your whole August. I'm like, my whole 20s, I was trying to figure out how to get into We had a whole month to figure out. That's awesome. That's amazing, though. To know what you want and get laser focused.
That guy.
Yeah. You're that guy. Are you a gunner?
You know what? Which gunner? The little baby gunner? Nah, I'm just kidding. No, but really though, that's when you found the passion. And that's when I started chasing that passion. And I was like, yo, this is who I'm supposed to be. And so when I did that whole 360 and I started committing to something, I didn't commit to anything before. I was just play around right here. But then I committed to that and I was like, yo, this is really what I want. And that felt so good to me. And I put everything into it.
Yeah, that's how, I think you can relate to
Yeah.
that. Chasing
We
something
say,
and
you need a certain personality for this. And I think whenever you meet other dentists, everyone has a very similar type A, kind of particular, ambitious personality.
Yeah, and that's the ambition that you just chase. It makes you chase the dream. And so my whole August, so I would shadow.
1 month, 30 days.
His entire application done in 1 month.
Meanwhile. But that's a beautiful thing to be able to
Yeah.
still have my path, you have yours. We're in the same room right now, even though we got here through different paths.
Exactly. All different struggles and everything. Just know that, just like you said it, all different paths. Doesn't matter where you're coming from, whatever. But we're still linking up right here, same table. We're chatting.
Yeah, you find your tribe.
Yeah, exactly. This is the tribe right here. Let's go.
So I want to go back to Miss Perry because you introduced me to her and I was able to talk to her and she's the one who, so shout out to Miss Perry.
Shout out Miss Perry.
She's the one who was like, hey, look at a post-bac or look at a master's because I had no idea. I was like, okay, I did all these prereqs. Yeah. Now what? What do you want from me? What does everybody want from me now? She was like, maybe look at a master's or prereq or a post-bac. And that was so helpful because it got me to where I'm at now, meeting Sona, starting this, everything kind of came into fruition. So before you met Miss Perry and you did that program, how did you find that program, that accelerated program that you did?
I actually found it through UGA, where I was at and everything.
Okay, so it's like a resource
Yeah,
at the school.
exactly. So yeah,
Okay.
having a resource like, cause I just didn't like go look, okay, down on this kind of program and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was a resource, and that was so helpful. So I mean, I would hope that a lot of schools, carry that. Goes my advisor all the time, like, hey, okay, now I want to do PA school.
I got beef with advisors. I'm like, I don't trust y'all.
No, my one advisor, Dr. Espoli. I always brag about him because he would just sit here, listen to my problems. Whatever I needed to talk about, get it off your chest. And now let's solve it. Let's figure out, what do you really want to do?
Lucky you.
Yeah, I know, right? Not everybody's that fortunate, but like lucky me for real. And I was so happy to have that because I bounced around so much. But then I finally found like my this and like that was everything.
So like I know for me, I didn't know where to look. So when you were like, okay, I need to figure out what I need to do, what was that process? Like, where did you go? What office did you go to? Who did you speak to?
The crazy thing is you asked that question, right? But everybody that's watching needs to look to y'all. Just being honest. You guys are giving like all the gems, and you have all these different series and everything. Everybody needs to look to you guys and say, okay, well, hey, let me chime into this resource because they might know people. So the thing is, it's all about networking. So you never know who you will meet. I've met so many people that have got me to different locations. As you know, you know what I mean? In life, and those people are essentially like, to me, they're blessings because they just elevate your life. And that's that addition that God was just like, hey, here, catch this. And if I wasn't putting up the effort to catch it, it hit me in the back. But I had the mitten out and I caught the blessing. You know what I mean? And it just elevates you. So yeah, networking is like one of the biggest things. And actually reaching out, because when I decided I wanted dentistry, right? They said, you got to shadow and stuff like that. So I tapped into my resources. I was like, okay, cool. What do I have to do? So I reached out to the fraternity. So, there's social and there's business. We know when it's business and we know when it's playtime. You know what I mean? And this fraternity member, I did not know him. I just reached out to the alumni in Lawrenceville, which is where I lived. And he was like, oh, I got you. He found a dentist within a couple of hours, had somebody give me a call and say, hey, when do you want to start?
That's crazy.
I said, stop. This is my fraternity, and this is what we do. I said, this is
I've been using this all around.
I know, right? Oh, this whole time. I thought we just supposed to shimmy and stuff, man. What's going on?
That's awesome.
But it was such a beautiful thing, and like from that moment on, like I said, like my whole August was like, okay, cool. Shadow from 9 to 5. Study for the DAT from 6 to freaking 10. And that was like my routine for all of August. And August, took my exam, got an interview in October. Like, it was just like boom, blessing after blessing after blessing. And when I found out I got in, please, got that job. I was like, okay, cool, let me save up for this car. Let me, because I'm be whipping the devil's school. These 4 years, I'm gonna be good. Yeah, so like, it felt good.
Wait, did you just say you took 1 month study for DT?
I really did. It was a heavy. I'm saying though,
That's crazy.
But the thing is, there's DAT, but there's also that life prep. All these, taking biology classes and all that stuff and things of that nature. So you kind of know this stuff is just revisiting it, and that's what you'll notice that. Essentially, like studying for the DAT, and then when you get into dental school, it's still the same thing, repetition. So they're prepping us from the get-go to be these doctors, to be these dentists, and everything, to rock the vibe, to make it happen. So repetition. Biochemistry, biology. Again, you might think it's blah, 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 but it's all good for us at the end of the day. Yeah.
That's true. Dang.
Do you think those classes were useful now as a practicing dentist?
Absolutely. Because you just have to know, as long as you have it in the background. So at the end of the day, like a patient might ask you a question, you'll just be like, oh wait, let me tap into this real quick. Let me utilize the knowledge that I, had. Maybe once, twice, whatever.
Because sometimes like when you're taking the class, I'm like, what am I gonna be
always. What's all these lines?
Yeah, like I need to know like these reactions.
Are we architects? Drawing these two architects, absolutely.
Let's get into dental school. So what made you choose, I guess, the one that you went to, and what was your criteria? How's your experience there?
So essentially my criteria was like get into dental school.
Okay.
But like I would have preferred to, stay get in-state tuition and things of that nature. So essentially my top choice was MCG, known as DCG now. Went through so many names throughout the day. Dental College of Georgia in Augusta. I applied there. I didn't open anything else. Nothing else mattered to me. Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to hear a no from anybody or nothing. But as soon as I got, but nonetheless, I didn't even care if I did because I got where I wanted. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, I would say whatever dental school you get into, like if you're like fighting and struggling for that, you're going to thrive because that same fight and struggle that you had before is what you're going to put into that school. You're gonna be top tier in that school, regardless.
We always talk about it.
I always tell her I used to worry about like younger students coming in, and I'm like, when you get there, all the life that you live, all the experience that you have, they're not gonna be able to see you. They're gonna feel you when you walk in there. You take over.
No, absolutely, 100%. You gotta have your energy be felt.
We were recently talking about this because obviously I start in July, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so old, and all these like young kids that are like smarter have already figured it out at 21. I feel like a little nervous about it.
In my class, there were people with kids like much older and stuff, and those people, they work the hardest.
Killed it.
They work the hardest.
I gotta get to it. I have no time to play.
I'm saying, like, I'm working hard, but I'm like, you have 3 babies at home. Like, how do you plan this?
Like, that's how I feel. Like, one of the girls in our program, and she has 2 kids, a full-time job. I'm over here complaining. I basically have no responsibility.
Maybe to make dental school easier, maybe I should have had some kids. Maybe a wife at home or something. I don't know. You know? Like, don't try this at home, like, for real. But nah, I applaud them, and I applaud anybody that's just in the position and just like trying hard and just. You got to get into the groove, get into the routine, because I had to learn how to study and stuff like that. I'm sure we'll get into that,
Yeah, what was your first year of dental school? So you got accepted.
Yeah.
And you start. What was your D1 like?
My D1 was wasn't the worst. At least my first semester. So I did take a prep course prior to going into that D1. So that summer, I took like an accelerated course where it's like, okay, you're in dental school now. You're going to take these courses because this is what you're going to be doing your first semester, basically. That summer, rigorous. I was like, God, Jesus, I want to fail dental school. That's how I felt. I was going to fail dental school. But then I got like through it and everything, and then I took that semester. It was still crazy hard, but I was like, it was repetition, like I said, because we were learning the same thing. I was like, wow, we just, like, okay, cool. They're prepping me to be able to handle this workload. Because you're going from taking like 16 hours in normal college to freaking 32 hours. It's like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, how do you balance that?
No life. Dungeon. Find you a good friend. It's so tough, but dental school becomes a 9 to 5 basically, like or 8 to 5. Because you're basically in that lecture room. It's draining. I used to sit in the front at the beginning. I'll fall asleep, and I didn't think that was appropriate, but I would fall asleep. But you know, I would wake up and be like, "Oh, okay, what are we talking about?" If they ask me a question, I might get it right.
What advice would you have for like Sona, who's starting in July? What advice would you have for her going into D1?
I would say relax, don't stress. It's gonna be overwhelming, but just know you're going through this with everybody else there. You're not solo. It's not like an undergrad where, okay, I'm studying this, I'm studying that. You know what I mean? It's different drives, different this, you know? So you're in the same boat with everybody else. You guys take the same test. You guys, like, it's just a matter of like, okay, am I here to study and make it happen? Or am I here to lollygag and do these little dental parties? Yeah, because, you know, you can have those people that, you know, attend every dental party, do every extracurricular, but are you thriving in school? You know what I mean? Because you want to hang out with the rest of your buddies, but you're not doing well, you can't do that. Yeah. So you got to know where the focus is and, you know, weak, strong points, whatever, stuff like that. And just kind of like, you know, focus. That's all. It's all about focus.
I do also want to ask you about your work ethic in dental school. So I know Sudhi was telling me a little bit, like you would be in the sim lab, like practicing till late nights and then early, right? So once people were stressing, you were like out of there. Like you felt very confident.
Yeah, I felt good.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So with me, I'm like, okay, I see the like end goal from the get-go. So I'm like, okay, I got to do this, do that. So like I would be in sim lab like late, like 3 a.m. and stuff like that. Just, you know, just rocking the vibe. Like nobody's there. I'm focused, put my headphones on, and I'm rocking it out. So, like, I felt like I graduated like a freaking semester early. I would be in Miami or something like that. I still travel now, but the traveling started
we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. He's a big traveler. We're definitely going to talk about that.
I'm always like, where are you now?
My classmates would be in lab still, and, like, I would be in Miami, and, like, it's a Friday, like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm checked out. Posting on the gram. And they're
everybody's
like,
all stressed.
Hold on. Yeah, they're like,
all the
what's going on?
procrastinators are like rushing.
So how were you able to do that? Because you started early?
Yeah, I just prioritize. Like, I'll grind hard during the week. It's just the same thing I do now. It's the same work ethic. I take a lot of vacations. I'm off on weekends and stuff like that. But you'll catch me freaking at work from 7 a.m. to freaking 3 a.m. Like, and I don't care. It's like I'm rocking it. I feel like I'm young. I don't want to burn out. But when I'm on vacation, I'm checked out. Don't hit my phone. Don't hit my line. Leave me alone, okay? And that's how I feel. I'm just saying. I love your patience. But
I mentioned before, Dr. A was my first employer, so he actually gave me an opportunity. He was the first person to let me come in and shadow, and actually ended up hiring me, and I worked with you for almost 3 years.
Yeah, man.
And every time I go home, I always go back, and his office kind of became like my baby. When I came to your office, it was like a little bit over, almost a year, or right at the year mark.
yeah.
When you started, and I walked into the office, and it was stunning, and I was like, all my life I've been envisioning what I thought dentistry looked like, but I've never seen it before. And when I met Dr. A, I was like, oh wait, like it's real. Like what I saw in my head, it was like he was the epitome of what I envisioned dentistry to be. And then he looks like me, you know? And I think that's amazing, because growing up, again, like I said before, in the Bronx, I didn't see anybody that looked like me when I went to dental offices. And then the vibe in the office, like the music was playing, we have TVs in the ceiling.
Yeah.
We have like, it was like the best dental experience I ever witnessed. And I was just shadowing, and I was watching how he educated the patients, how everything kind of just came together. There were some hard like moments trying to get patients and trying to start. So after you graduated dental school, what did you do next? So you went into residency and then ownership, or like straight ownership? Like how did that work?
So, grew up in Georgia, majority of my life and everything. I just knew I didn't want to stay in Georgia. Too slow for me. I was like, if I established myself here, for one, I would probably be given free dentistry, because I knew everybody and all my family's in Georgia. Everybody expects free work.
Dentistry.
And everybody's like,
You
oh.
get a veneer. You get
Exactly.
veneer.
All right,
money
let's just do this. So let's just do this. And that's how you go broke, my friends. Because you have student loans, you have debt, which can be considered good debt. You know what I mean? But we'll chat about all that. But nonetheless, though, I just know I wanted to be in New York. I like the big city and everything. I visited before, and it just seemed so good to me. So I was like, okay, I'm applying to one residency program. And
You applied to one?
Yep.
And got it.
And got it.
And when I see Bronx Lebanon
Are
Hospital,
you real?
no. That is believing in yourself, and I you know, you just have to put I put my eggs in that basket because I feel blessed and I know it's gonna happen. And the thing is, not just knowing like praying is gonna happen. Yes, you pray, but you also have to put forth that effort.
Work.
Exactly, to make sure that you push that thing to make it happen. Yeah. So that was the only. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make it happen, and got into Bronx Lab, and it was great doing that GPR program right there in Bronx Lab.
So obviously for New York, it's required, but would you recommend it for someone else that doesn't want to practice in New York?
Absolutely. I would say that. Absolutely do a GPR, AEGD, whatever it may be. Absolutely. Just because essentially like you get out of school, and with school you have, requirements here. Okay, you have to do 4 root canals before you graduate. 4 root canals. That's it? You know what I mean? Or
We just talked about this in our last episode.
a couple crowns and stuff like that. That does not give you enough, They say, practice makes perfect. I don't believe that. Practice makes permanent. So essentially, the more you practice, the more that skill set becomes permanent, and you hold on to that. You know what I mean? You're never going to be super perfect at anything. Yeah. Even the most perfect person can mess up. A GPR or AGD, whatever residency program and everything is a must, I would say, just because it makes you faster. And before you go into somebody's practice or you open your own, and it makes you more, fulfilled here, and you get that better skill set. You learn new things. It's like getting more practice. It's like doing these continuing education courses, basically, that we pay an arm and a leg for. So focus in school and don't lollygag. Whatever you have a question about, make sure you ask it. If you are interested in cosmetic, go out there and go, talk to those professors and everything. Get some skills from the seniors or whatever. If you're interested in implants, do it while you're in school, because if you don't do it, you're going to pay $12,000, $14,000 for a course, 4 days or so. You're going to get some knowledge from it, but just, when you have the opportunity, go ahead and take advantage of it, because you're already paying the tuition.
That's true.
Have you ever thought about specializing while in school, or do you know general is it?
I actually did. Essentially, specialized, and I wanted to go into oral surgery.
Okay.
Yeah, initially. Okay. Just because I like the extractions. And I was always there, so they were probably looking at me like, yo, this gunner. Like, what's he doing here?
I think he is a gunner. I think he's a gunner.
But I got like an award through the oral surgery clinic when I graduated too and all that stuff. 'Cause I was really there. Like I was really there. They really thought I was. I just loved extractions. And it was just like boom, take it out, boom, take it out. And I even had the opportunity to go on a mission trip in Dominican Republic, which was freaking amazing. Best thing ever. If you've never done a mission trip, I would encourage you to definitely check one out. It's so fulfilling. You see the life that other people live. You see the gratification for anything that you do. Like it's everything. I'm feeling it right now, man. Just talking about it. It was such a blessed moment.
So you loved oral surgery. Why didn't you pursue it?
So
Backtrack.
What was fun to me was extracting teeth. Like when I did the mission trip, I probably extracted like 100 to 200 teeth. You know what I mean? Extracting teeth excited me, the incise and drain, and just all those aspects. But reconstructing the jaw, I had no interest in all of that. I took a tooth out, but I don't want to. No, I'm good. I wasn't like, oh my God, I want this oral surgery residency because I'm so interested in that. And that's why I say the passion again, coming right back. It's not my passion like that. I love to do it, but that's not the passion. I would say my passion now is cosmetic, and I love it. I love it. So that's the thing. So if there was a residency right now that says, yo, like all you focus on, let me take it. Cool. Let me rock that. You know what I mean? So when you're passionate about it, that's when it's like, don't chase like a residency because of the money, because there's money in dentistry regardless. You know what I mean? Just be happy. Happy what you do. That's every job. Be happy to walk into your establishment. Be happy to see people that you work with. Don't walk in there like, again. That's going to drive you crazy.
When I finally started working with you, because I shadowed at different offices, and I was like, oh man, like some of these dentists were like really miserable, or they just didn't have the right team. They didn't have anything like really that moved me. And I was like, dang, like I'm scared to pursue this and I'm going to be miserable. When I got to work with you, it was like nothing felt like work. I never worried about the time. We used to be at the office at like 1, 2 in the morning with patients, cleaning up or planning for the next day. We used to go out and try to find patients, give the little goodie bags. I've learned so much. Did you always know you wanted to own your own office? What was the passion behind that?
First of all, I just want to give you your flowers. I love your ambition. I love your passion. And I love your ability never to give up. And that's freaking amazing. When they say you lose the good ones, she was a good one in my practice. And like she was just like, okay, I'm doing dentistry. I'm like, dang it, just stay here. Don't leave.
How dare you try to better yourself?
Yeah, exactly. How dare you try to be greater?
And it's still like my baby. Like I love that office. It literally made me want it even more. I was already hungry when I got there, but when I really was working in there and I saw even like the bad days were good. Absolutely. I just didn't care about, and I think that environment really was like, okay, this is what I want. That solidified it for me. I almost quit. I swear to you, if I didn't meet you like a few days later, Eunice was like, hey, come with me to my dental appointment. Yeah. And it was like 8, and I'm like, what time is your appointment? She's like, oh, it's at 9 p.m. And I'm like, what dental office are you in? Like, is that code for something? Should I know a password? Is there a safe word? Like, what's happening? And then I go in there and I'm like, oh, this is fire. I want to own something like this. Yeah. So did you always envision yourself owning a practice?
I did, but not as soon as I jumped in.
You jumped in pretty fast.
Yeah, because I did residency, and then I worked for like, I'll say about probably a year.
When you did residency, did you work while you did residency? What was your dynamic?
I would moonlight. So moonlighting is like you could work on the weekends or work when you're on vacation or something like that. Residency doesn't pay that much, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool, let me get like extra money here and there.
I want to get into that.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, so that was cool. So I had a mentor in Atlanta, Dr. McFadden, man. Big ups to him. That's the one I shadowed for a good minute. And then like he was like, yo, why you want to stay in Atlanta? I was like, I would, but I got to go do my own.
Oh, so you were the good one.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Full circle. Essentially, just getting out and deciding to open my own was like the best thing that I did. After that year, I realized like I was working for somebody. I never liked the word work for. I work with you, partnership or something like that, but working for you is like doing your work. I'm making you thrive. Granted, yes, I applaud for that. But I want to make myself thrive because I think I can thrive like you're doing. I can learn from what you're doing. Might be even be able to thrive better. I say aspire to inspire. Anybody can inspire me, and I'm willing to listen. Even somebody younger than me, even somebody that's not even in dentistry, and I can do the same. I would love to do the same, like in regards to inspire whoever I can inspire to go open a practice or go do this, go do that. That's gonna make you better in life. So I felt like that was gonna make me better in life, and I was like, okay, cool, open this practice. But the thing is, I take risks. But I take calculated risk as well, okay? So my calculated risk was like, okay, cool. I'm still be working. I'm just like I was, studying from this time to this time and then, shadowing from this time to this time. I would work at a practice from 9 to 5. Take a 1 hour break. Go to my practice from 6 to 10. Those late hours you're talking about. I had to keep my lights on. I had to be able to pay my staff and everything. But the way it was going, everything was thriving. Like every month, the numbers doubled. So I was like, I'm doing something right.
Let me do more of this.
Exactly. Let me just keep on doing this. And then I said, okay, well, by 6 months' time, I'm going to stop because I feel like I'm going to burn out. And by that 6 month time, I felt like I was burning out. And so that was perfect.
I remember.
Yeah. And I stopped everything else for everybody else. And, you never really believe it that, okay, cool, I'll be able to make it if I just quit everything else. Nah, but when you focus on yourself, that's when you thrive the most. And I was like, wow. Now I'm like not caring about, going to this office to make this money to do this because I'm just making partial money to, sustain this. But now I'm taking care of everything here. Taking care of making sure staff is okay, like management is okay. We're taking these classes and courses to make our, patient presence better. So we're actually have like quality care for our patients. Like everything comes full circle. And now you're happier because this is your establishment and you're doing that. And then another thing is your establishment. You can do whatever you want. I can do a backflip from my front if I want to. You know what I mean? I brand whatever I want to. We dancing.
We were.
Yeah.
If you haven't followed his Instagram, we're gonna put it below, and you can go see some of the content we created.
Oh man, crazy.
We had lots of fun doing that.
But it's fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you represent a very modern age of dentistry, and I think we want to do a whole separate video on that. So if you want to see more, stay tuned for part 2, and you can talk about your dynamic in your office. I promise you, any office I worked at has never, I don't even understand what you're saying with this office culture. It sounds so lively and amazing.
We gotta make freaking dentistry fun. Yeah, all together.
So let's get into that more for our next part.
So we're gonna end this one. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2 with Dr. A. And make sure you go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, comment below if you have any questions or any fun stories you want to share with us. And make sure you hit the bell notification so that you know every time we post.
And Dr. A's social media will be linked below in the bio as well.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.